flag from about 5 second board, so we've decided we can go racing. Red lights go on and they go out. So away we go then. There's one or two that haven't got away that quickly, but I think they're all going now. It was the 3 car of Thomas Westworth that was a little bit delayed off the line, but it's Lee Morgan leading from Dan Clues in second
Booth
position.
is third.
Booth is third, and Rob Wellham up to 4th position.
Popped the curve to do that.
Yeah. Wellham likes the wet. Elliot Mitchell was telling us that yesterday, so we should see Rob Wellham move forward in this race. One would think he's already made up 3 places from his starting position, but it's Morgan, Clues, Booth and Wellham as they head down towards us. And there's Tom Gadd.
Tom Gadd, who's made up 5 or 6 places already. He made a much better start than Dan Gore, who had a complete left front corner replaced on that car, including the damper mount was refabricated. Following yesterday's crash.
Wellham got to 3rd past Booth at Tower, and he's now heading off after the top 2. Lee Morgan and Dan Clues, the 2 champions from the last 2 years. Rob Wellham, who's won a few races in the past 2 or 3 seasons, but never really had the championship. But between Tower and Sonny, he has got right with the first 2. He's got quite a deficit to make up, but he's done it, and the first 3 are together as they head into the complex.
Yep, here they come back into the complex then, and you can see it's Morgan in the Perpetuum car. Clues in the pale blue one, ducks up the inside, but a better exit speed for Rob Wellham, and he gets run really wide out of that corner. And meanwhile, Clues challenges Morgan for the lead. Wellham looked like he was really racy at that point. Those 3 clear, then it's Booth in 4th. 5th is Murphy Aldridge for looks of things, and it's 69, which is going through after that, which I think was Eddie Falkingham.
So 3 for the lead, Wellham still with the top 2. Then you've got this gap back to Booth and to Aldridge, the 16-year-old. Eddie Falkingham 6th, Matthew Higginson 7th. And there you've got Wellham, he's got past Clues there at the chicane. So Wellham up to 2nd position now, certainly living up to his reputation as a wet weather specialist here. He's gone from 7th to P2 in the first lap and a half. They're at Tower Corner now, and it's only about a car length between Lee Morgan and Rob Wellham, and it was at this part of the circuit that's coming up now that Wellham was very quick on the previous lap and took a lot of time out of the 2 race leaders then, and he's right with Morgan now. I can see out of our commentary box window as they head up towards Sonny. We've got Barcroft to come first, this fast right-hand kink, quite a lot of curb taken by Wellham, who's up the inside of Morgan, and he goes through on the inside there, and Rob Wellham takes the lead away from Lee Morgan. A bold move that, not much compromise there. He's gone through to take the lead. Morgan to 2nd, Clues is 3rd, Booth 4th, and Murphy Aldridge is 5th.
Yeah, that's been a fantastic couple of laps, hasn't it? So much work done in the first couple of laps, and Rob Wellham then from P7 on the grid. Murphy Aldridge having a good go, tried to come back round Matthew Booth, but he couldn't make that one stick. And here comes that pale blue car there, see of Clues. But the chase pack is intensifying.
We've got double waved yellows on the way into Clairvaux, so there must be a car off down there. Rob Wellham, unsurprisingly, has got the fastest lap of the race. I think that's the car that's been recovered that was off on the green flag lap, possibly, but that's now being hauled out of the way. So Wellham it is leading from Morgan in 2nd, and Clues now has Matthew Booth all over the back of him for 3rd and 4th position, and Matt Higginson I think now has he made up a place there?
Yeah, ahead of Falkingham, yes.
Yeah, he's up to 6th now. He's gaining on Murphy Aldridge here. 4-time champion in RGB as it was. Matthew Higginson has been away for a few years, away from racing with the 750 Motor Club certainly. That's been doing things elsewhere. 11 minutes left to go in this race. Murphy Aldridge, a very impressive podium finish from him yesterday, getting his first top 3 finish.
Yeah, he looks well into this race as well. And Booth ran a bit wide on the exit of Sonny 1. I think that's what might be where the other car is over there.
Yeah, Tom Gadd is 9th, isn't he? He's not right at the front of the field. Let's look and see. Yes, he's just in the back of that shot there, isn't he? Gaining on Paul Butcher, who's his next target. But I thought he may come through a little bit faster than he has, but he won't have driven these conditions too often, I don't think, as Aldridge and Clues, Morgan and Clues were overlapping there at the hairpin. They're coming through to complete lap number 3.
Clue's looking good down into Clervaux. He had a bit more speed in the slipstream. Can he make it stick? Is he close enough? That was really tight, and someone may have had taken a lunge there and then ended up with both cars off, but nicely done.
Higginson's just in the fastest lap of the race to get on terms with this group as well.
Yeah, Aldridge couldn't get his car to turn just then into the chicane. Cost him a little bit, probably a tenth of a second or so. Just slithered understeered a bit. Up they go towards Tower. There's all the road going in. There is Higginson sliding round in the disc lock car, and he tries to come round the outside of the car with a novice cross on, which I think he's done. He has. He's gone round Murphy Aldridge there, and now sets his sights on Matthew Booth up ahead.
It does indeed. So disc lock man Higginson up to 5th position. Got the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap. There's Wellham then in the lead of the race from Morgan, still in 2nd place, looking to add to his victory in the 2nd race yesterday. There's Higginson with Aldridge just behind him, so that's the fight for 5th and 6th position. As cars turn their way towards the hairpin for the 4th time in this race. Wellham out front, Morgan 2nd, Clues in 3rd.
Down the field, I see that Newman's making up some place, up into 10th place. Matthew Higginson best lap, 1:31.48.
Yeah, Newman also coming from towards the back. He started 15th, didn't he? So he's made up 5 places.
He's the Alsatian, isn't he, from Strasbourg?
Yes, that's right.
Bob Wallach, great sports car racer, comes from the brilliant Bob.
So him racing in Sports 1000 the past couple of seasons, Victor Newman. Not Bob Wallach. No, that would have been.
Unfortunately, he died in a cycling accident.
That's right.
Bob Wallach on his way cycling back from the circuit, or back to the circuit in Florida at Daytona.
So Higginson did another fastest lap on that previous lap to get a bit closer to Booth, to get ahead of Murphy Aldridge. 1:31.48. Yesterday's lap times were obviously much quicker, 1:17.34, the best race lap time from yesterday. That was for Tom Gadd in the first race. Gadd in 9th position here, not really making much impression on Paul Butcher ahead of him, I don't think. So possibly 9th, the limit of his ambitions here. Aldridge not giving up on 5th position. Trying to fight underway. Higginson
up the inside of Booth at the hairpin, and the green car on the maroon one. And there's not much grip to be had on the exit, but Higginson looking strong, coming through the chicane the wrong side.
That's 95, David Tagg.
David Tagg, yeah.
Aldridge did the best lap of the race on that lap, a 1:31.11. So, and there goes Higginson around the outside at Hawthorne, trying to get the place away from Booth. That will give him the inside line for the left-hander that comes up next, and he squeezes through.
That was fantastic. Round the outside at Hawthorne. Who'd have thought it?
Booth looks like he wants to try and fight back on the way down to Tower, though, and Aldridge, who was quick on the last lap, is sticking with them as well. They've got quite a gap back to Edward Folkingham in 7th, Paul Butcher 8th, Tom Gadd 9th, and Victor Newman in 10th place. It's really all about these first 6, who are still separated by only 2.5 seconds. That's the back marker, David Tagg, that they're going past there, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got towards 5, certainly got room for time for 4 laps, and Higginson absolutely fired his car into the corner there, and through Barcroft on the approach to Sunny. And Aldridge now looking like he'd like to have another go at 65, which is Matthew Booth.
Yep, good. Yep, get 5th position out of this one.
They still also have 3 winners. Oh, someone's got a marker post. Higginson gets a bit sideways coming out. Matt Booth in there as well. Leaders up at the hairpin. Good train of cars.
Clue's a bit skittish on the exit of the corner in 3rd place. Wellham, who's still out front, has not got away from Lee Morgan. His advantage was 0.8 of a second. It's down 0.9 of a second, so it's not really changed by very much on that lap. No improvements to the fastest lap on that lap either for their first time so far this race, I think, with not had an improvement to the fastest lap. I think the conditions were generally improving.
Dan Gore's made a place on bets, but I guess his car may not be handling quite as well as it was yesterday. Extensive repairs to that car.
Run by Mattel Cars, as is the car of Matt Higginson there, that's in 4th position, number 83. He sported in RGB as well when he raced in that previously.
And it was down towards here at Croft where Higginson was so quick, the car just slightly twitches out of line, but he keeps it nicely under control.
Through the second element of Sunny and on a short straight towards the complex. Looks like the top two, I think, just pulling away a bit from Booth now in 3rd place. So Morgan trying to go with Rob Wellham, but then Higginson and Booth and Aldridge are right together for 4th, 5th and 6th positions.
I don't know if it's Higginson's driving style or whether his car just is slightly looser at the back end than many of the others. Good old slide out of the hairpin for Booth, but it didn't help his traction, and it exposes him to a potential attack from Murphy Aldridge down into the... Aldridge goes to the outside, carries a lot of speed, and is he going to make it? He does. That was very brave. Very brave. Great move from young Murphy Aldridge there. Around the outside of Matt Booth into Clervaux.
And on that lap, Lee Morgan did the best lap of the race as well, a 1:30.88. He was a quarter and a second faster than Rob Wellham, who himself his personal best lap, a 1:31.13. So could the fight for the lead be on as perhaps conditions are going back to Lee Morgan, but Booth now trying to get the place back around the outside of Aldridge at Tower Corner. And I think they're still wheel to wheel, and Higginson's got a problem. They've gone past Higginson, but these two are still together, and it's Booth that's made that move back on Aldridge at Tower Corner. I mean, while Higginson's had problems, he's actually still there, so maybe it's just an intermittent issue, but Higginson back to 6th place. So Booth back up to 4th position. However, the 3 leaders, there's definite gap now from 3rd back to 4th. Booth and Booth because of the various incidents between 4th, 5th and 6th. You can see it's getting slidier out there because the cars aren't turning in as well. There's not as much bite there to be had from these wet tyres. So maybe they are now beginning to go off a bit. Yes, and possibly some will be thinking the end of the race can't come too soon. And can't come too soon for race leader Rob Wellham, that's for sure. He's got 0.67 of a second with 2.5 minutes to go. So there's one more lap after the one they're now on, if the check flag's not thrown early. Dan Clues has the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.54. Yeah, and that's got him to within about 7/10 of Lee Morgan now as well. So the first 3, well, they were pretty much equidistant over the line. Gadd on 24 there. Gadd's gone... he's under attack from Victor Newman. He is. Gadd, low-cost champion a few years ago. Front runner in the Sports 1000. Past couple of years, Gadd, big slide on the way out of the chicane there. Managed to keep that under control, but the grip and the handling, not what he would be hoping for. Newman in that Mattel Cars run machine attacking the TSR mount of Gadd, who... well, went wide, but actually that wasn't the worst thing to do, I don't think there, but he did find a bit more grip as they go through the Jim Clark S's. Which one of those is going to come out in front? We'll pick that up in a minute. Here are the leaders. It's getting closer, I sense. Lee Morgan, a couple of times a champion, is looking very much racier again. It's out of the hairpin where Booth seems to have problems with traction, and last time, a couple of laps ago, he was taken by young Aldridge, who's in behind him in the 26 car. Last lap boards being shown to the drivers now, so this is the final 2.1 miles with just about a minute to go on the clock, so that's right. Morgan has halved the gap, more than halved the gap, to Rob Wellham. Wellham, the wet weather specialist, a bit sideways as 3rd place Clues through... and there's a different set of lines here. This is quite interesting. And has that cost Morgan time, or is it all about exit speed from the chicane? It looks like it is, and he's looking really strong as he goes up under the wing, goes up the outside. Is there the room to get round? He's got to fight. It's not much track room, but that was very cleanly done. And he might try to cut back. There is obviously better grip harboured in some parts of the circuit, but through the Jim Clark S's they go. Daunting part of the circuit. Rob Wellham holds on. He does indeed. Morgan had a real good go. It was all about that speed out of the chicane that allowed for the attack at Tower, but Wellham was wise to it and able to defend it. They take different lines again through Sunny, and they come back together on the exit of Sunny 1, now through Sunny 2. There's half a car length between them, and that's not very far at all.
There's not much chance really up here normally at the complex. Clue's looking good on the... Oh, he comes up the inside of Morgan.
And actually Booth and Aldridge are right with them as well now. Aldridge was the fastest man on circuit, 1:30.30 on the previous lap. Towards the hairpin for the final time. Clues looks up the inside of Morgan, which kind of distracts Morgan, I think, from attacking Rob Wellham. If anything, it's going to be Wellham that's going to come through and take the checkered flag. His first victory of the season in the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. The first 5 covered by just 1.59 seconds in the end. 5 Wellham the winner from 56 Morgan, 8 Clues, 65 Booth, 26 Aldridge. Then in 7th place it's Eddie Falkingham, number 69. 6th place it's 83 Matt Higginson. No, the screen corrects itself. 6th was 69 Eddie Falkingham, 7th was 83 Matthew Higginson, 8th was 12 Tom Gadd, 9th Victor Newman, number 24. Paul Butcher has not... He has come through in 10th place now. Number 42, Paul Butcher. Alok Iyengar, 11th. Dan Gore, 12th. Matt Betts, 13th. And I think we're waiting for Max Windhauser to take 14th, which he does now. And David Tagg was a lap down with a slightly reduced grid with some attrition during the course of the weekend. But a really good race that. A great drive from Rob Wellham, Marcus.
That was really superb, and in conditions that he couldn't let up for a nanosecond, could he? That was absolutely marvellous. Beautifully done. Fought his way through.
Yeah, from 7th, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7th on the grid. Throw of the grid. And terrific win. Thrilled to bits with that.
Let's have a look at that result then. Rob Wellham getting the verdict by 0.48 seconds in car number 5. From 56, Lee Morgan in 2nd place. 8, Dan Clues was 3rd. 65, Matthew Booth 4th. 26, Murphy Aldridge 5th. 1.59 seconds separating the first 5. And 6th was 69, Eddie Falkingham. 7th was 83, Matthew Higginson. He had problems in the last 2 or 3 laps. 8th, number 12, Tom Gadd. 9th was 24, Victor Newman. And 10th was 42, Paul Butcher. He lost a couple of positions, I think, on the final lap. Then in 11th was the Indian driver from Pune, Alok Iyengar. Number 44, 12th, number 80, Dan Gore. 13th, number 88, Mark Betts. 14th was 66, Max Windhauser. He was the last finisher on the lead lap. David Tagg, number 95, was 15th. And Thomas Westworth, he only managed to complete 1 lap.
So they close the points up, isn't it? Because Booth, who was in 4th place, and Gadd down in, 8th place,
yeah.
That's going to make a big difference. They're going to be pretty much together, I'd have thought.
Although, having said that, I mean, the 3rd and 4th place drivers, Higginson and Gore didn't have that strong a result in that race, did they? Wellham, he will, I would think, probably move up to 3rd place in the championship with that win.
He could well, but I think it's the point situation between Booth and Gadd, who were the leaders going into the race. Gadd, in fact, 5 ahead of Booth.
Yeah.
I think it may have been reversed now.
I think it probably will be. I think Matthew Booth will have taken the championship lead with that, but there is still a long way to go. The next meeting of the season for the F1000s, and it's another triple header, of course, is at Brands Hatch on the 2nd and 3rd of July. They go to Donington Park a month later. Anglesey in September, and they complete their season on the Snetterton.
I'm looking forward to that already, Ian, because we're there, aren't we?
We are, yes. So look forward to that as the final cars come in. Still got 3 races to come this afternoon. The High-Tech Alfa Romeo Championship is up next, and then we've got the 2nd of the Toyota MR2 Championship races and the Tikiwa Club Enduro Championship to round off the 750 Most Club weekend here at Croft Circuit. And a reminder that the next event here at Croft after this weekend, it's a bike meeting on the 11th and 12th of June. That's organised by No Limits Racing, and the next car racing action is the British Touring Car Championship. There's an action at Thruxton this weekend. They're here on the 25th and 26th of June. Let's head down to the pit lane and Tom Butterworth.
Welcome back to the pit lane once more. Swallow Hill Homes F1000 final race of the weekend winner Rob Wellham. You went second yesterday, managed to get the win today. Brave move down the outside as well, down the inside into where did I have it? Into Sunny Inn to pass Morgan for the lead, and then came back at you on the last lap as well. How was it?
It was tricky for me. There's not as much grip as there was 3 years ago, but the car was performing good. Just going down the straight, I was having to lift off halfway because the clutch kept on spinning or slipping. So that made it a bit tricky because I could see Lee just catch on the straight all the time. But no, it was a good race.
It looked enjoyable. Certainly opening a few laps and things like that were there. Was it just trying to keep it in one, in a straight line for the final few laps? And how worried were you when you came down the outside of Tower?
Well, it was a bit sketchy moment, but we kept on the track. It's so easy to follow someone because you got them as a braking zone or braking point. But when you're out by yourself, you have to make sure that you're doing everything right, and it makes it that much trickier.
Okay, well, congratulations, Lee. Well done. Second yesterday, first today. We're going to move over to Lee Morgan, who finished second on the road today. First place yesterday in race 2, and almost had the lead back again today.
Well, yeah, I think actually on the last lap I was just actually over the head, but yeah, Rob had the inside and show me the outside of the track, which, fair to do, and give me room. But yeah, there wasn't enough room around the outside to go around, and the grip wasn't really there, to be fair. So yeah, we had a good go at it, but obviously this man here, Dan, was also hassling me from behind. So I think we were sort of all quicker in like different parts of the track that made it really interesting. So I think where I was quick, Rob was a little bit slower, but then in other parts where I was a bit slower, Dan was quick. So it never gave me that sort of chance to really attack going forward. It was a bit of an ebb and flow race where I was sort of defending one part of the track and trying to attack on the other.
Yeah, it looked like the race went out a little bit, and then towards the end we thought maybe he cooked his tyres, or he certainly started to come back towards you. And I mean, you were never a long way behind anyway, but you were right there at the finish.
Yeah, I don't know whether we just managed our tyres a little better, or maybe I was on slightly older rubber, so maybe that just came in at the end as it was drying out. But yeah, it was I sort of let him go at the start because I knew he was going to be quick anyway, and I thought, well, if I can follow him, I'd be quite happy to sort of come over in P2. And then as the race went on, we sort of started to close that gap in a little bit. So I thought on the last lap we might as well have a little sniff, and I wasn't going to take any massive risks. Well, it's not even in my car, so I didn't really want to go right at the car off. So yeah, we had a little sniff, but we didn't really want to take too big a risk. I mean, yeah.
Best of luck after it, and congratulations. So another double podium. Moving on to Dan Klaus, who's also double podium this weekend. 3 races for F1000, so a second and now a third. And again, you were right there at the end, Dan.
That's it, and a fourth in race 2 as well. We've had a cracking weekend.
Yeah, brilliant.
We've certainly turned the form around since Silverstone. The lads of JFK have asked an awful lot of them this weekend and in the prep beforehand, and they've turned everything out. The car's been perfect all weekend, and that was a wicked race. Really enjoyed that.
Great. It looked a lot of fun in the wet as well. I mean, what are these like to drive in the wet compared to the dry?
They're so skatey because they're so light. So there's not a great deal of sort of, well, they're so light, so they sit on top of the water, float around a lot, so you're always working all the time. On the brakes, it's sliding all the way through the corners, and you just try and stay on top of it all the time. It's a real battle. Great
stuff. Well, thanks, Dan, and congratulations again. 2 podiums and a 4th place as well. We will move on very swiftly because they're on their out lap already to the high-tech electronic materials Alfa Romeo Championship.